As technology professionals in R&D, our role is building high-speed and low-latency infrastructures for throughput, and we tend to associate that with research. It's always exciting when we can align those services with the performing arts and the humanities. Excited to introduce Dr. Dominic Vincenzano to talk to us about how Internet2 and GEANT have been helping to enable the performing arts in the same spaces as well. So, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you very, very much for being here. It's a privilege and honor to be here this morning. And art is our universal language. Art is what brings humanity together. And we, all of us, we are the speaker, the creator, the curator, and the keeper of this language. To make sure that we are all art native speakers in some way, we need to make sure that the field is level. We need to make sure that we are creating opportunities for everyone to engage with art openly and fully. And to do that, we need to remove barriers and to make sure that art is not a privilege for just a few people, but it is a fundamental right. It's our shared heritage. And to do so, we need to keep changing and adapting and embracing that as our own ethos. And working in this field, we know very well how this is important, and we keep doing that every day. Whether we are educators or network engineers or administrators, we know that we need to adapt and keep change things in a way that they are constantly aligned with what is expected. And that means in the performing arts, that means that things that we are normally used to look at, that needs to become audible. Things that we need to normally control by blowing into need to be squeezable, or other senses need to be used and needs to be to come into play. Written needs to become spoken. Spoken needs to become written. Far away and distant should be close and touchable. And that's where we can make a huge difference. And that's what this presentation today is about. How Research and Education Network can play such a fundamental role in creating a unique way art, performing art, art education, collaboration in the arts can be completely rethought and brought to a completely different level. But let's start from the beginning. So let's see what are challenges, for example, that arts educators are facing every day. There are lots of challenges. Those are just 4 main categories, but this is not an exhaustive list. There is limited access to technology. You know how expensive sometimes adapted instruments and tools are. There is a limited access to training. So even if we have the technology, we need to have training, and we need to have enough time and resources to train people to use the technology. And there are barriers of all sorts. Logistics, like how to deliver things into remote places. Physical, structural, economical. How to reach marginalized communities. How to make sure that tools are actually matched with people who need to use them. And that's how technology can actually help. We're going to see that technology can help in many different ways. By providing a global access to tuition and courses, by designing specialized tools that can be inexpensive or sometimes free, by creating new platforms, new ecosystem where artists, students can play together, can rehearse, can learn, can create together, and design custom learning path. Everybody is different and everybody learns in a different way, and everybody needs different tools to learn and to engage. And this is even more true in the world of performing arts. And just to give you an example how technology is making a difference, we can take something like a physiotherapy tool, like a glove used in stroke rehabilitation, and turn that into a music instrument. So even if somebody has lost the fine motor skills, can still make music. We are bridging the gap between thinking music and actually creating music, making music. That's just another example. Again, stroke rehabilitation, we're using another physiotherapy tool to make music. So technology is definitely great. We have sensors, we have tools to create customized, bespoke things and adapted instruments that a stroke patient can actually use to make music. But it's when technology and network are coupled together that the real magic happens. It's when the isolated intervention and really great thing that happened in a single place can scale up and can turn into an entire community strategy. And the network can make a community as big as we want, as we are going to see. So the community is the key aspect here. And it can only happen if you have the technology and the research and the education networks that we are all involved in. And that is something hardwired in our brain. So we are hardwired connectors. We all feel really naturally the need of connecting, of creating a community. Probably us working in this field even more than others. And, just to show you this is not new, that people have always had that desire of making communities and connect around the arts. Just a couple of examples. 1874, Alicia Gray invented the musical telegraph. 2 years before that, the telegraph was invented. And it was not invented by musicians or for musicians. It was created for exchanging information for military, financial, societal purposes. But it only took 2 years for musicians to actually hijack or exploit or use this technology to actually do something groundbreaking. Alicia Gray had a little keyboard where each key was a little switch connected to a cable that were connected to a little buzzer somewhere else that was ringing at a specific frequency. So that means that I could be here with my keyboard and I can deliver a concert somewhere else. Now we take these things for granted, but in 1876, that was absolutely mind-blowing. For the first time, there was the concept of a concert hall blurred into something that it was as large as my cable could actually go through and reach. This was the first time that the concept of a larger community started to emerge. Like, I don't need to be in the same room. I can be somewhere else. I can deliver the concert in a different place. 1876. And a few years later, something even bigger happened. Thaddeus Cahill invented the telharmonium. $200,000, 60 feet, 200 ton, really massive machine. Got big cogwheels inside those silos there that were spinning and electromagnets picking up, the signal and creating audible waves. And everything was controlled by 2 keyboards. So that means that you can actually play a keyboard and make sounds. It was the first electronic keyboard. It was the grandfather of the Hammond organ. But what is really amazing here is this. That's the telephone. Now, at that time, under 50 years ago, we could create audible waves, but we couldn't listen to them because loudspeakers were not invented yet. The only loudspeaker, so something similar to a loudspeaker that was available, was inside our telephone. It was like charcoal with a membrane. It was good enough to hear the voice, but that was it. So the telephone played an absolutely crucial role there. And what made this act really incredibly brilliant and groundbreaking as well is the fact that people could actually ring that person. So they could actually play by these Beethoven C-sharp minor sonata or Goldberg variation, and the person would actually play and stream to the telephone to the other person home who could actually listen to this. And this was so absolutely massive that in 1920s they had to stop using it because the entire phone line in New York City was completely jammed by this. But again, telephone line was not invented for musicians by musicians, but look at that. Streaming on demand. We don't have anything like that today. I wish I could actually ring somebody and say, can you please play that for me? But imagine how the concept of community enabled by network started to completely change the way people thought about making art or making music together. And fast forward to today, internet was not created with the artist in mind, was not made by artists, but it's the absolutely fantastic playground for art to happen. And Internet2 and GEANT, together with the other international research and education networks, are providing, since many, many years, advanced network technology for the arts. Remote collaborations, masterclasses, multi-site performances are happening every day on our network, making our infrastructure not just for the very few lucky scientists in their lab, but really for everyone, for every student in a music school, in a conservatoire, in an art studio, in a theater, in museums. They can enjoy, they can make art, they can think art in a completely different way thanks to our network. And because we have such a fantastic intercontinental link between US and Europe that is there, that we talk about that in the previous years, multiple 100 gigabits per second, that means that this community is not just one continent or one nation, can be truly global. And this is already happening. We already have lots of initiatives, masterclasses across continents. And the testimony of that is our joint network performing art production workshop, held in Europe and in the US annually since 2009. NPAPW is a collaborative project that is all centered around performing arts, making art together as a community, reaching out to new user communities, collaborating with entrants, so research networks, cultural organizations worldwide, enabling a cultural exchange on a scale that was never thought before. And I'm really thrilled to announce that this year, the Network Performing Art Production Workshop is going to be held in New York City, hosted by the College of Performing Arts of the New School, and sponsored by Internet2, GEANT, Internet, and the New School. Registrations are open, the QR code is there, and if you are working in the performing arts, if you are supporting artists, you have to come. It's really, yeah, more than invited. You really need to be there. We need you. We need to make this a community. And it's going to be in New York City, 12th to the 14th of November. And again, it's going to be international and intercontinental, and we are making the most of being at the core of a really global community. So what we do as a community, I mentioned that we take art very seriously. And as a community, we have a set of tools that we created already. When I say we, it's a collaboration of our networks, our national research and education networks, conservatoires, School of Music. And this is just a non-exhaustive list of a few of the tools that we use regularly and we present during the NPAPW workshops in action, so you can come and see them. We organize trainings, hands-on workshops there. And the first one historically is Lola. That is probably almost 20 years ago, roughly 20 years old. One of the oldest, in this environment, tool designed by musicians for musicians. It was born in a conservatoire, Conservatorio 13 in Trieste, and it was designed to satisfy and to meet the very strict musicians' demand of having extremely low latency, 4 milliseconds. For a software tool, that's the best you can actually have. And it's point-to-point, multi-point, free if you are an educational institution. So these things normally cost a lot of money. This is absolutely free. And let me show you that in action. This is from an NPAPW or 2022 in Tallinn. A pianist was playing in Tallinn, and a cellist was in Vilnius, so in another country. And as you can see, the pianist has a screen here and the camera, so that he can see the cello player from the other country, and also the cello player can see the musician, and so they can actually use some visual cues to play together. And that was slow. And during the years, other institutions started working on that. And one of the really interesting tools that have been developed is called UltraGrade, and it's from the Czech Republic National Research and Education Network called CzESNet. The reason why I like that, why I think it's very interesting, is because it's a software package that can run everywhere. I have it on my laptop. It can run on Linux, on Mac, on Windows. It's free, so it costs nothing giving it a try. And you can use your webcam and your microphone, but you can also plug an external microphone, or you can use a 4K HD camera, external camera, and use and scale up, with the hardware that you have available. Latency is higher because the audio is compressed and the video is compressed. So that means that you can never reach the quality of LoRa, but the advantage is that you can run it on your laptop on a normal network. And this little excerpt is a piano duet. I was in Denver, and Matthew Goldhart was in Troy. We did a little demonstrations just using, and then again, that's used on my laptop and recorded from my laptop. And again, from CzESNet, we have another tool called MVTP. If you don't like the idea of having a laptop to do audio-video communication in the arts, this is a standalone single device that is based on FPGA, so it's extremely fast. So you got 3 milliseconds latency plus of course the speed of light, because it goes on a fiber. But the good thing about this is that you just need this tool that can fit on a rucksack. You plug the network, plug the video, plug the audio, put the IP address of the other box, and you are ready to go. So it's a really convenient solution for mobile studios, for example. And again, this is coming from our community. And this is an example of this in action. That was NPAPW last year in Vilnius. And in addition to hardware tools and software tools, we have also other solutions. Part of the GEANT project, as a part of the GEANT project, we are involved in the development of WebRTC-based, so web-based, essentially, tools for audio-video communication. It's something like a video conferencing tool that is also very suitable for audio, for music performances and art performances, like theater or concerts. It's called EduMeet. It's completely free. It's open source. And you can use it from your laptop, from your mobile phone, because you don't need to install any software. And if you are an educational institution, you can decide to install your own EduMeet server inside your institution. And that is what SF Jazz in San Francisco did. So they are the first institution in the US having their own EduMeet deployment in there. And they are regularly using it. So we have someone from SF Jazz here. But instead of just talking about that, let me show you. So let's see. Let's connect to them. And let's see.
Nothing could ever be as wild as love.
So that's San Francisco now.
And the wild is the wind and wild is the roaring sea. Nothing could ever be as wild as love.
And you can hear the audio quality.
Is love whenever two hearts meet. Wild is love. bitter but oh so sweet. And I know I must go wherever love takes me. Whatever love makes me, I will be. Like a fire burning beyond control, wild is love, deep in my heart and soul. And the wild is the wind and wild is the roaring sea. Nothing could ever be as wild as love. Wild is love.
I feel terrible about this one.
Whenever two hearts meet, wild is love, bitter but oh so sweet. And I know I must go wherever love takes me. Whatever love makes me, I will be like a fire burning control. Wild is.
So this is on, of course, on a wireless network. So, and imagine this on a, like if you have a proper wire connection, and how amazing the quality is. So this is using the Opus codec. So they are the same codecs that Zoom high fidelity is using, and it's completely free. Again, quality is amazing. It's nice. It's smooth. The audio is fantastic. And again, this is just using the same wireless that we are sharing. So I have a few glitches just because of that. But imagine that you're just using that with the cable network. So again, can completely change the way performances can be enjoyed. Tuition can happen, and it's free. It's completely free, open source. You can try it. You can use it. So we've done this. But let's before, since we have a few minutes, just a little experiments, just to show you. Again, how we can make music together using the technology and network and how put things together. I'm going to use now my smartphone. Smartphones are quite useful, and I will need some help. So I invite Karin to join me. Smartphones are very useful devices because they have cameras, they have sensors, accelerometers, gyroscopes. You can use them to detect proximity, but you can have a camera that is tracking your mouth, for example, or your head movement, eye movement. So you can actually make really, really customized, bespoke, very inclusive tools just by using your phone. So what are we going to do here? I'm having this with a little app that is tracking the movement of the face, going left to right. I mapped that to a pentatonic scale, C4 to G6. And what I'm going to do with that, so actually what Karin is going to do with that, so you'll be the soloist with this. And I'm sending data from here to my laptop, playing them, so we can first of all listen to them. And let's try that. Let's see how that works. Okay, let's mix it up. So you have the soloist now. So we can make music using a sensor, just using our face. Data are sent to my laptop and they're played here. And we can do more than that. There is a nice protocol called Web MIDI. And we can take the MIDI signal coming from the phone to the laptop and we can share it. We can embed it in an EduMeet, for example, chat, or in this case, what I'm using a little client. So if you use this QR code and you're joining with your phone, what you can do, you can actually listen to the stream on your phone everywhere you are. You can just leave it there. Or you can even play, because you have a little keyboard, you can play. I can see there are 6 people here playing, which is amazing. change the instrument, yes. Who was that? Brilliant. So again, this is like a little tool, but imagine this embedded in a traditional like video conferencing like teaching tool. So a music teacher can actually deliver training using the audio and video from EduMeet, for example, and using web MIDI to send MIDI messages. And that can happen using customized, adapted music tools. Or we can have sensors on a paintbrush, and an artist can actually provide feedback about the pressure and about the way the artist is drawing or is painting. Or a theater, a dancer can have sensors on them. And they can actually move, and then the movement can go, information can go through through the network to a choreographer or another dancer somewhere else. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you. Oh. So, art is not a privilege of a selected few. Art is our global language, is a shared heritage, and is our collective right. But art can only flourish where everyone is truly involved and engaged and empowered to participate and be part of a community. And we need to claim back the right to connect and be connected through art. And yes, today is today. R&E Network are here to bring us together as a truly global community. Thank you. And thank you, Karin.
All right, I own a 9-year-old. I don't see an app for that in the Play Store. Is there an app for that in the Play Store, and what's it called?
Yes, it's called Music Kraken.
Music what?
Music Kraken.
Kraken, okay.
Yes.
And what is the
That.
ball thing?
This is the,
Okay.
that's, yep.
Thank you. And what's the ball thing that was early on in the presentation? Where
The ball was a physiotherapy squeeze ball that we equipped with an accelerometer inside. We had a special thread on the outside so that you could actually, if it was squeezed, it was changing the resistance, so you could actually detect squeeze. But you also put inside a little vibration transducer so that it would actually give haptic feedback to the person, because again, we were using that in stroke rehabilitation, and we're working with stroke patients that lost the fine motor skill. So in that case, it was useful for them to understand when it was reaching the range of motion. So we use that as a tool to give feedback to the patient. But again, we use that as a way to show that we can make music in any way. We don't need to have we don't need to have traditional music instruments. You can actually make music even with embed music in therapy, and actually work together with therapists to design interventions that can use music as a way to support rehabilitation.
if you made that commercial, you could probably sell that to lots of people who own 9-year-olds.
Thank you. Oh yes, the app has a. So I've got a few slides here about how to actually build. You can build your own instruments with the app. So you can use a keyboard, chords pad, or what I did was using this. There's a face tracking, and you can use right eye, left eye, mouth open, or X, Y, Z are related to the head movement, or the tongue as well. So, and after you choose that, there is another mapping object. You can decide the music scale you want, the range. So you can use like C mixolydian, for example, map it to your tongue movement, or eye tracking. So again, even if the eye is the only thing you can move, I said, you can still make music, you can still make art, you can still be part of something.
In this vein, is it possible maybe to map the signals to phonemes to possibly recreate speech, things like Dr. Hawking, where he could look, I think he had a visual keyboard, but could you use the facial motions or hand gestures to emulate phonemes?
Definitely.
Recreate speech?
Yes, yes, exactly. So this is just an example about what you can do, but of course, as you can imagine, technology can up almost anything to anything. And it was just for me a way to show that when technology and network are together, you can really scale up with something really nice happening here to something that is, immediately affecting a community and create a community.
MVTP. What are some of the challenges that you run into when it comes to like synchronization between two or multiple players across countries or continents?
Okay, if you are of course just point to point, in that case you don't have anything special in place. You just you're just relying on the symmetry of the link. So you have the same delay going from here to there, then there to here. If you have multi-point connections, you might have 2 points that are close and one is very far away. So what you need to do in that case is measuring the delays and then adjusting the delays in a way that the software is able to align the timing based on the network delay. Claudio, is that which is very similar to what also happens if you're doing microphoning in a big concert hall, and you have musicians that are very close to the microphone, and then others are farther back. You have to work with delays to make sure that they are visually the same. And you can shorten, of course, but you can always add a little bit of delay so that they all feel in the same place. But thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there is also one point that Domenico has not touched, but it is money, financing, and production, and so on. Technology can also help you in producing new stuff, new concert, new operas, whatever it is, and in the end, save you a lot of money. We just had on April the 11th the first performance of 3 new operas, which were created, written, put together on stage, and whatever, where the whole process, which was a traditional opera production process, so writing the plot, translating the plot into songs, making the music, making the general rehearsal, producing the costumes, the scenes, everything of it, in 3 different theaters in Europe, one in Modena, one in Gdansk in Poland, and one in Helsinki at the Sibelius Academy. None of the people involved ever moved. They all stayed at home. They only moved together 3 days before the first performance because the performance was a traditional one. So they made an estimate of how much money they saved because of that, and how much carbon they also saved because nobody was traveling. And producing an opera like that costed them 15% of the total cost that they should have paid if they were doing it traditionally. Moving all the troupe of an opera theater, you know how many there are. 100 people at least that need to move, meet, and work together. They never moved. So with something like 20,000 euros, they made something which was predicted to cost 100,000 before. And that was the only possibility to make it. So it also saves you a lot of money. Okay, that's my financial head behind the scene, yeah? But this also helps to do things which are impossible because otherwise you don't have the money. So remember that.
Thank you, Claudio.
This is also important.
That's such an important point, and the combination of saving money and also be more environmentally more friendly. That means a lot, and also I think you touched a very very important point. When we think about technology, we normally initially think about a technologically enabled performance with special effects and lights and visual screens. But as you're mentioning, this technology can support a perfectly classically delivered opera in this case, or concert, but saving a lot of money or enabling or making a more comfortable like rehearsal time for everybody involved, because you miss less traveling, more time with family, or having like easier logistics. So yes, thank you. That's a very important point. Any other question? Well, in that case, thank you so much again for having me, and thank you for being with me today.